welcome to another episode of The Little Give. Today, our guest is phenomenal. I can't wait for you to meet her. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and what you're all about.
Absolutely. So firstly, thank you so much, Cindy, for having me on the show. I'm really looking forward to having this chat. So introduce myself, my name is Trang Cess Nguyen. I am a mentor, I'm a speaker, and specifically I work with individuals to help them fulfill their potential in a career or a business that's aligned to their heart's purpose. And when they achieve this, I believe that they will thrive in their lives. And when enough individuals are thriving, then I believe that humanity will thrive. And when humanity thrives, I believe that the world will thrive. And that is why I do what I do.
I love that. And you're right. It's like a ripple effect that just keeps going and giving and giving. I love that. So, is
Mm.
this what you've always done, or is there a backstory?
Oh, there is absolutely a backstory. It's a full journey to get here. So to share the story of how I got here, this isn't what I've always done. When I finished school, I went to uni and I graduated to start working as a physio in the health and in the sports industry. And I did that for quite a few years. I was generally happy. I was generally comfortable. I was generally successful. But then there was a day in my mid 20s where things changed. And this is an interesting story, so buckle in. So what happened was this particular morning, I'd gotten up to go for a run. And I step out onto the sidewalk to start my run and I hear a crunch. And I'm like, what's that? What's going on? I look down and I'd stepped on a snail. Now, this isn't the first time that I've stepped on a snail before, but for some reason, this particular morning, I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that I had stepped on this snail, me just doing my own thing, living my own life. I'd caused an effect on something outside of me. And in this case, I'd killed something. So as I kept running, I started to think more deeply about this. And I started to see the bigger picture. And like it hit me. It was like a veil had been taken out from in front of my eyes. And I started to see other ways that my current lifestyle was already neglecting other forms of life. And, you know, for the rest of that run, I couldn't help but feel really guilty and feel like I could be doing better. So after that day, over the coming months, my thinking started to get bigger. It started to get deeper. And I started to see more and more ways that my life had an effect on the world outside of me, whether it was the plastic that I was using or the clothes that I was wearing, and how that had a ripple effect that I wouldn't see. And this set me spiraling. Like this started my quarter life crisis, as I call it, because I was seeing all of this, and I could see how much power I had, yet how small I was at the same time. Like I felt, insignificance, that I couldn't actually ever do enough to change everything overnight. And I started to resent like humanity's role on the devastation on this planet. Like this is how big it got over the coming months. So this sent me into this existential crisis, you could say. And then it got to the point where going into work, spending my time, my energy, and showing people how to squat in the gym or showing people how to do wrist exercises, it wasn't enough anymore. And I knew that I needed to become more and to do more. And that's when I finally decided to change careers. I wanted to go deeper. I wanted to go more grand. I wanted to go more global. And that's why I'm now working with individuals to transform their lives, because now they are changing their lives. They are rising up in their consciousness as human beings, not just as athletes. And that is the ripple effect that I strive to have on this world. That is the way that I want to give my life and my energy to this world.
I love that. I love how, like, just all of a sudden out of nowhere, he just like step on this snail, and most people just like walk along, like, oops, but not you. You're just like, oh, okay, well, hold on a second. Maybe I'm that small in this world. that, my life matters and my life, and start thinking internally about how you can make change and how you can make things better and how you can move on. So since you've done that, I can tell by the smile on your face that you don't regret your decision to change your career path.
Hi, my name is Justin Clark, and I'm the president of the board of directors for Driving Single Parents, a 501c3 nonprofit serving the citizens of San Antonio and Bexar County, Texas. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about the great work that our organization is doing for the citizens of San Antonio. What you're about to see is just a few photos and videos of the way that we're changing lives for single parents in and around San Antonio, Texas. Our first giveaway took place in April of 2017, just one short month after the formation of our organization. John, a Bexar County resident, was the victim of a horrible drunk driver incident. He and his daughter survived the crash, and we were so proud to give our first car to this deserving family. Fast forward to 2020, a very difficult year for nonprofits. We were able to secure 4 vehicles for single parents in need. Our organization, including our board of directors, list of partners, and portfolio of people we've been able to help in San Antonio, continues to grow, and it's all thanks to donors and local community organizations that have helped us along the way. This giveaway took place in 2021 and shows that we continue to help single parents even after the struggles brought about by COVID-19. Because of limited funds and the overwhelming need, we at Driving Single Parents are incredibly selective with the people we help. Some are victims of domestic violence. Others had a spouse pass away tragically or otherwise fell on hard times. These single parents show adversity in the face of challenge and aren't looking for a handout. We offer a hand up and help get them back in the driver's seat. Many of the single parents we help go on to graduate college, get promotions, get married, mentor others, and some have even been so touched by the gift we gave them that they have decided to join our board of directors to pay it forward and ensure the continued growth of our organization. If you would like to help our organization continue to grow and continue to help single parents in need in San Antonio, Texas, and Bexar County, Texas, we would really appreciate your support. Please visit us online at www.drivingsingleparents.org. Thank you.
What was your favorite part of your new career?
Oh, I love so much about what I do now. I feel very privileged and lucky to be able to say that I am living my dream life. And first and foremost, it's because at the end of every day, at the end of every week, I go to bed and my heart is bursting with fulfillment. Like I can truly say that I am fulfilling my soul's purpose and I am fulfilling what it is that I feel like I'm meant to be doing. And then in addition to that, I work with beautiful individuals. I get to connect with incredible souls, just like you, Cindy, right now. And I have a online business, so I do have time and location flexibility. I run retreats, just like the image on here now. I run in-person events, I run retreats, and that is where we have the most deep and open connections with other beautiful souls. So I love what I do.
So tell us how that looks. Is it you do like a life and confidence coaching, or like tell us about like what it is that you practice?
For sure. So how I see it is I am a mentor, I'm a speaker, and I work with individuals so that they can pivot in their careers and build their dream career or business that allows them to fulfill their purpose and their potential. And the reason why I am focusing on this is because this is the journey that I went on, right? Like I went through a career pivot so that I could move into an area that I loved, as well as an area that would create more impact that was meaningful to me. And we know that this is so important because how many people are out there in the world right now? They're successful, they have a lot of money, they've hit their career milestones that they thought they've always wanted, but they still feel like something's missing. Like
Mhm.
they
Love
don't feel, yeah, they don't feel that fulfillment. They don't feel that deep joy. And this is something that I've experienced. So I want to gift that to others, and they can then thrive in their life. And then once we're thriving, we can give so much more. You know, if we're just surviving and we're just trying to keep our head above water, we don't have capacity to think about others, to think about giving. But when we're thriving, then we can give. We can give our time, our energy, our resources, our love to the world. So to answer your question more specifically, Cindy, how I actually work with these individuals is I go to the core of us as human beings. Like I go to the core of, okay, what does your heart say to you? What is your soul and your heart's purpose? You know, how can you shift and transform your internal world, your mind, so that you can become more resourceful, you can become more resilient, more determined and more driven and all of those things, so that you can achieve everything that you've always wanted to in your career, in your business, in your own life. And then from there, yeah, just transform all the external results.
Yeah. So, what do you feel like is the biggest challenge in doing that? Do you feel like it's like self
Mm.
sabotage that people endure, or is it, their own mental blocks, or what do you feel like the biggest challenge is?
Yeah, definitely. You're on the ball there, Cindy. The biggest challenge is internal, because a lot of people, they can say that what's holding them back is maybe a lack of time, or maybe even lack of finances. But ultimately, at the root of all of that is what's within us. Because I really do believe that our external world is simply a reflection of our internal world. Like who we are constantly creating our reality. We're constantly creating our life. And another way of saying it is that our life is simply the external expression of what is our thoughts, the images that are in our mind. So having said that, the biggest blockage is very often there's going to be two main things. One is lack of self-worth and lack of self-belief. Could say lack of confidence. That's a big one, because someone can desire and be as clear on these goals as much as they want, but if deep down, if they don't believe that they're worthy or they're capable of achieving that, they're not going to actually allow themselves to receive that goal. They're not going to allow themselves to receive it, let alone to even pursue it. Like they will self-sabotage. So that is
Absolutely.
one. Yeah. And the other aspect as well is actually simply having the resources, knowing like the strategies, having the self-awareness, having the knowledge to even get started and to go down the right path. Because there are individuals out there, and it breaks my heart, because they are so driven. They know what it is that they want, but they just don't know how. Like they're
Mhm.
rowing the boat really hard and they're putting in the work, they're showing up, but they're rowing the boat in the wrong direction. And when they
Right.
get the right resources, they can steer the boat into the right direction and then start heading in the direction that will get them to where they want to go.
Absolutely. I think that sometimes people just they make definite statements about their life, and that like, well, I can't because of this, and I shouldn't because of that. And they have these like self-limiting beliefs that just put them on pause, where they just literally are just rowing that boat and just constantly rowing and not really going anywhere.
Mm,
And it's all their own mind. So a lot of times I tell people it's almost like a prison. You're a prisoner of your own mind. But the cool
yeah.
thing is you've got the keys to that prison cell, and they're right there on the table in front of you. And if you know how to reach for those keys and unlock that, you can really do crazy great things in this world to make it a better place.
Yeah, totally. Like a big one with that I see constantly, that I experience with myself as well, is the self-awareness of knowing what our own heart's purpose is. Because in society there is a lot of external validation and acknowledgement for progress, right, for results. So then it can get really tempting to get caught up in the race up the mountain, right, like spending the best years of our life like working hard, getting results, progressing in our careers. But so many people, they climb this mountain and then they get to the top and realize that it was actually the wrong mountain the whole time that they were climbing.
Right.
Like they climb this mountain, they get to the top and they don't enjoy the view because
Yeah.
it's the
I
wrong
mean,
because it's the wrong mountain. So
it's
like
kind of like
having
what
a
you did and kind of
yes.
like what I've done in my life. It's like we've been there. So that's true. Like it's so true that how do you teach people how to pivot? So obviously everybody has a thought in their mind of what their direction is going to be, where they're going to go with their
Mm,
life, what they're going to do. They're going to be a vet, or they're going to be a doctor, or they're going to be a lawyer,
mm,
whatever it may be. How do you teach people that it's okay to pivot? It's okay to change your career path. If this one doesn't feel
yeah.
good when you had the idea, maybe it felt good then, but maybe now it doesn't feel good. So how do you teach people that it's okay to pivot and
Mm.
do something different with their life?
Yeah, that's a great question, Cindy. I'm really glad that you asked that because there are so many different blockages that will stop someone from actually pursuing and creating that pivot into their lives. So first of all, there are people out there who like they know what it is that they want deep down. It's in their heart, but they might have suppressed it and they might be in denial because that's what their heart wants. But their mind, logically, there are fears. There's a narrative of what their parents or what society has told them. So then they're in this really confused and torn state. And that is the very first step to actually become really clear and connected to what is true to you. And that's the first step that I work with because, like if you're too in your head and if you're too caught up in your routine and in your current identity based on your life up until now, it's very difficult to create and carve a new path going forwards. So helping people open up and to connect and uncover, what their heart truly says to them. And I know this may sound a little bit wishy-washy and it may sound, like airy-fairy, but that's where it starts. Otherwise, we're just going to be kind of like climbing up that mountain without checking if that mountain's the right one. And then from there, like, working with, okay, recognizing this is what my heart wants versus, what my mind wants. And then taking the practical steps. So overcoming, any self-worth challenges, overcoming the fear of judgment, overcoming fear of the unknown, and then taking specific steps to, okay, this is how I can pragmatically like pivot in my career, whether I'm changing career paths or starting a side hustle or starting a business that means something to me. Like, how can I do that whilst also, being able to financially be in a comfortable position? How can I do that whilst also looking after my family? How can I do that whilst also, being in a state of abundance so I can enjoy life and enjoy all the different parts of me as well, not just my career, being able to constantly thrive as an individual, not just one part of life.
Yeah, it kind of brings me back to something that I heard the other day, which was if you won the lottery tomorrow, would you quit your job? And if your answer is
Mm,
yes, you're in the wrong field. Like right then and there, you need to like go ahead and start thinking about shifting to a new career because whatever you're
yes.
doing with the time you have here should be something that you are passionate about, that you love, that doesn't feel like a burden every single day. And so I thought that stuck
Oh,
with me was, that's right. I mean, that's so right. If you are not living the life that you want and you're not doing a job or a career that you're passionate about, pivot. You can move on to the next thing. You can do something different. And so, what do you think about
mm.
that?
Yes, I'm in full agreement of that. That is one of the things that I say when it comes to, people being unsure, like, should I, this idea keeps popping up in my head. I keep questioning the path that I'm on now, but I'm just not sure if I should pursue it. And that is exactly one of the signs that you should pursue it is if you
Yeah.
ask yourself that question, if I won the lotto, if I have all the money in the world, what would I be doing? um, because that is your truth and you can't deny your truth. I mean, you can suppress it, but it's going to just keep coming up, at
Mhm.
nighttime, in the shower, when you're in bed, on weekends, anytime you're alone. If that same idea or that same pull keeps showing up, then that is something to listen to. That is something to look towards, not to look away. And I understand that there can be a huge fear. And I felt this because I spent 7 years in the sporting industry where I was actually, I was making moves. Like I was starting to have a name. I was starting to get recognized. I was getting hired to do conferences and talks in the sport industry. And I was like, if I change now, I feel like I'm going to start all over again. Like I feel like I will have wasted the last 7 years of my life. And that's the fear, the sunken cost fallacy, right? Like feeling like, not wanting to change due to not wanting to lose everything that's been built up until now. But what I say to that is, you may lose the last 7 years. I don't see it that way anyway, because everything from the last 7 years has been a beautiful chapter on its own. It's been something to celebrate, something to experience. But as I can see that you're already like seeing this, Cindy, it also builds and it's also part of the journey to get to where we are now.
Right.
And every day that we wait, every extra week, every extra month that we wait to pivot or to change is more time wasted. So the best time to pivot is ASAP. It really is.
That's true. I say this far too often, but I always say fail forward. Like it's great to fail. That is something that makes us a better person. We learn, we grow. So as long as you're failing forward, that's okay. There's nothing to be, nothing negative about that. That's a great thing because you can't pay money for that type of experience that you feel and learn from a failure. Because every time you fail, you get better, you grow stronger, and you do better. And so I think it's important to do that and not see it as something bad or negative.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's a concept that I looked into a while back, and this changed my entire perspective of time. So if you're happy, Cindy, I'd love to. What's that?
Like I said, like the snail.
Yeah, like the snail. That day that I stepped on a snail and it changed my whole life. So funny. But yeah, if you're happy, Cindy, I'd love to share this concept. I looked at this when I was about 25 years old. So it will be different based on what age you are. But I looked at the age of 25, if I were to live to over 100 years old, how many days of life I would have left. And it was about 30,000 days. Wow. 30,000 days left of life. Now, if we use that in a different context that's easier to understand, imagine if you had $30,000 in your bank account. Imagine if you had $30,000 and you can't ever increase or replace those $30,000. You can never get more. That's all you've got. And not only that, but every single day you were losing $1. Like imagine, right? Imagine how precious you would be with every single dollar that you would spend. Right. Imagine how sacred every single dollar is, let alone every single $365, right? Mm-hmm. Like you won't be wasting any of that. You would be so intentional with each dollar or every $365 that you spend. So, bringing that back to time, how I see it is we don't have a day to waste. We don't have a year to waste. Like every day, every year is an opportunity for us to express our best, to fulfill our purpose, to serve the world, to create our dream life. So do that, and if there's a fear of losing the last 7 years or the life up until now, we kind of already spoke about that. But also if there's the fear of how long it will take to make it in a new career path or how long it will take to achieve something, like just remember that the time's going to pass anyway.
That's right.
5 years is going to pass anyway. 10 years is going to pass anyway. So with this one life that we have, why not use that time pursuing what it is that we want to be doing?
Absolutely. That's right. Every hour, every day is a day less, that what we have in the future.
Yeah.
So like it's bartering time all the time. So you got to surround yourself with the right people and have the right thought patterns and continue to grow and learn and get better and do better every day because you only have that limited time,
Hi, my name is Andrew Fraley, and I believe that sometimes we all need a little bit of help. If you're in the San Antonio community, and you need some legal help, call me at 210-725-4658.
So do you have any nonprofits that you're excited about? Do you want to tell us about?
Yeah, for sure. So, going back to that snail story, it all started for me with other forms of life. Like all forms of life that we share this planet with are so precious, are so beautiful. We are all one big family. And yes, at the moment now, I see this thriving world for all forms of life and for all future generations. But all started with the different sentient beings who we share this planet with. So a nonprofit that I am very excited about is Edgar's Mission Sanctuary. The sanctuary is based in Melbourne, where I live, Melbourne, Australia, and they do incredible work for the animals. They rescue all types of animals, not just dogs or cats, who usually get the spotlight, but they rescue all animals. They give them a better life, and they may not be able to save every single animal in this world, but for the animals that they do rescue, they save them, they change their life and change their world. And I've been to the sanctuary, I've walked around, I've seen their operations and how they do things. And yeah, I'm in full support of what they do. It's so beautiful.
I love that. I love it. Well, thank you so much for showcasing that. So why don't you tell our audience where they can get in touch with you if they're interested in hearing more about your business and all the things that you do?
Yeah, for sure. So there's a few different places that you can find me. Like I am quite active online. The best place is probably Instagram. That's where I am most active. So my Instagram handle is at Trang Cess Nguyen, TrangCessNguyen. And from there are links to everywhere else that I am available, like my podcast, my website, right here on the screen, alignedperformance.com.au. And yeah, like say hello, reach out. I always love to connect with different beautiful souls. So yeah, reach out, say hello.
Awesome. Okay, well, I got to ask you the golden question. So the little give's all about giving back. So can you tell us a little give that maybe somebody can do in their community that could make a big impact to the person on the other end?
Yes. Okay. I love this question. I'm ready. I'm ready to share a little give that can make a big impact. And for me, what it is exactly that. It's the little things that we do day to day that create a ripple effect, and it goes beyond what we can see. It goes beyond what we will ever know. So today, what I would love to challenge the viewers with is see if there's any way today where you can show up as your highest self and show love, show kindness, show empathy to someone else in your world. And I know that is something that it can look very, very different. It could be like someone's on the road. If they're road raging at you, then you just show them kindness. Or if you are at the shops and someone drops their groceries or something, then you can go and help them. And it's just the tiniest little thing, but they are then going to feel that love. They're then going to see more of that love and more of that joy in the world. And then they will give that forwards on another day to another person. And that is how we create ripples in this world and make big impact.
I love that. What a great example of a little thing that someone can do. Just that simple little bit of humanity, a smile and a kind word, maybe help them with something. I think that's perfect. Well said. A little give, big impact, always wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed your time. I love your story, and I look forward to following you from here on out.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity, Cindy. I've loved this conversation, and I really hope that the viewers get a lot out of this.
Thank you all so much for spending your time with me tonight watching this episode. I really enjoyed Trang's story. I think it's so interesting that tiny little snail made such a big impact in her life, how it changed the course from her working with athletes to her working with people to change their mindset and helping others. I just absolutely thought her story was really inspirational, and I look forward to following her from here on out. If you guys would like to know more about Trang and what she's up to, then you can find her on her website, and I will have that on alittlegive.com. And if you'd like to know more about us, or you have suggestions for the show, or maybe you want to be a guest on the show, you can definitely visit us at littlegive.com. We'll be happy to chat with you about all of that. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.